Hey guys, my name is Henry. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I want to explain to you what this group is about. I'm really excited that you're here, and I'm excited about what we're about to embark on together, right? Just a little bit of backstory, and I'll be perfectly frank and blunt with you. I am tired of the false advertising. I'm tired of the clickbaity stuff. I'm tired of the problems that are lead generation. I am tired of what the consumer sees constantly out there that is absolute crap, total trash. It puts everybody, including the homeowner, at a disadvantage. It puts you guys as a sales organization or a sales rep, small to medium sized business. It puts you at a disadvantage as well, simply because the ads that are being ran right now are just not working. They're not working effectively, right? So, with that being said, skepticism is at an all-time high, and everybody's trying to figure out what to do with it, right? Lead generation companies are aggressively running terrible advertising purporting, all of the falsities that is a core problem in the consumer's eyes to potentially even have an opportunity to vet and qualify themselves with you through a real conversation about potentially moving into solar, simply because the distrust is at a all-time high. A lot of other issues in the solar industry, I don't need to go into them. I think that 2025, I think the correction has started to happen, right? So at the end of the day, we need to collectively, as an industry, we need to do things differently. And so my main focus in 2025 is to show you how to crack the code and operate from the ad with a completely different type of an ad into an evergreen webinar and a funnel structured in a way that at the end of the day, you build trust on autopilot 24/7, right? And you're going to have opportunities to provide free quotes and opportunities for follow-up consultation simply because of what we run and the structure of what we're going to build, so that you have real opportunities based on trust, based on ethics. I'm looking for ethical players. I'm looking for individuals that are willing to build trust and relationship with clients, that want to actually assist and help those clients, and to be rewarded by doing that with a sustainable pipeline of sales through a tried and true methodology, which is webinar sales, right? Now, if you've ran webinars in the past, and I have a lot of experience running webinars back to 2015 when I first started in the industry. Back in 2015, 2016, I was a part owner by happenstance, just kind of fell into it, in a sales and marketing organization for solar in the Orlando, Florida market, right? I was responsible for driving and creating the pipeline. Long story short, I started to run ads. This was back in the heyday of 2016. I was really, really good at it. All of the ads that I ran back then was for webinar, and we had it dialed in to where we were basically presenting via webinar. It wasn't an evergreen webinar. It was a show up and be on point webinar. But at the end of the day, we'd have 100, or more individuals there hearing our pitch, and we would nail the pitch. And then we would simply just transition in webinar to the consultation, and we were selling solar left and right. Long story short, wasn't with that organization for very long because we had a lot of problems scaling our boots on the ground, right? One particular week, we dropped upwards of 50 booked appointments in the Miami-Dade market. I didn't know about it till Friday. That was a writing on the wall for me. I left and I went directly to the distributor we were purchasing a lot of product from, a startup coming from nothing. We were buying a lot of product. And so I began to work for them. They introduced me to about 50 of their hand-picked dealers in the state of Florida, and overnight I began to run ads at scale. Over time, I scaled to the rest of the country. Solar Savings USA was born. I'm still operating with Solar Savings USA. But with webinars, right, I've had a lot of success with them. Sold solar with webinars, sold physical product with webinars. And these days, I even sell, a lot of you guys know, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but for the last year and a half, I've created an offer for large buyers to operate with the same systems that we have as a lead gen company, installing a ping tree product inside of their organization so that they can control their lead flow, their cost, all of those things, and they could also turn themselves into a lead generation company and profit by also distributing leads to partner relationships. I call that the Alpha Ping Tree. Now it's a management consulting business called Alpha Moxie. We're going after in 2025 a much higher level of buyer, and not only in solar, but in many different verticals. That's a $70,000 price point, and I sell that via webinar, right? So my point is, when you structure things in the way of webinar, it's structured based on trust. The type of ads that we run are completely different, right? We're not trying to run an ad to get them to give us anything, even though they're going to be giving us their name, their phone number, their email address, good contact information, because that's how the link goes out, right? So we have their good contact information. They're raising their hand to get information from us based on the type of ad that we run for an evergreen webinar based around solar. Now, we have some secret sauce, we've got a hook, we've got all of those things, and I can guarantee you that you've never seen an ad, like it, right? The methodology, the psychology behind it. At the end of the day, we get individuals to show up for the webinar. We shoot a best shot because it's evergreen. That webinar is really dialed in specifically to a framework, right? We hold their attention, and at the end of the day, the call to action is not buy a $5,000 product. The call to action is simply for a free quote. And then we have another transition into the follow-up. Anyway, without going too much into it, I'm just telling you that these days, ethics is more important and control is more important than ever, right? If you're buying leads from lead generation companies, I want to warn you that most lead gen companies out there right now are running clickbaity stuff. It's putting you at a disadvantage, and it's causing harm in the marketplace with the consumer, right? Not only that, but the ads that you see, you've seen all the horror stories in the comments. People are being taken advantage of. Ethics is low. There's a lot of problems. We want to run against that grain. That's what this whole group is about. I'm looking for ethical individuals that want to learn a process by which you can fully control your owned and operated pipeline. O&O, owned and operated, is an industry term in the lead gen world for an asset that you own and that you operate, and you control the narrative, right? If you're buying leads, you're not controlling any narrative. If you're owning your O&O, you are controlling the narrative. And this is all based on trust. It's based on ethics. It's based on connection, and it's based on doing good business, right? So we're looking for ethical individuals that are interested in potentially, leveraging this and doing something completely different. This is our contribution to changing what we can in the industry, right? We do not want to run clickbaity, terrible ads. We do not want the consumer to have a bad experience. We want to be able to shoot our best shot. And these days, the hardest thing to do is to actually connect with the consumer and have a real conversation, because skepticism is high. They're able to connect with you in the evergreen webinar format on their own time, but it's structured in a way that you can take full advantage of this particular environment for your sales. If you're a small guy, you can do this on a minimal budget or no budget at all, right? You can run, and we teach the methodology to run organic, and it basically puts you in a position to where you can grow your persona in your sphere of influence organically. If you want to get to the point where you can drive traffic to it, the funnel, once it's built, it works for you 24/7. There's going to be people at all hours signing up for that evergreen webinar and getting the just-in-time opportunity so that they can get your pitch, hear your information, potentially move forward with you. From soup to nuts, we have the entire methodology built out. And so webinar is the webinar experience is a tried and true sales mechanism, guys, right? If it works for me on a $70,000 management consulting offer, it can work for you in finding individuals to simply book an appointment for a free quote. I guarantee you that. I ran this with a handful of organizations all of the fall of last year. I've been hyper-focused and dialed in to trying to figure out how we can improve lead quality for small to medium-sized individuals that cannot afford to simply just spend ad dollars on terrible advertising, right? This puts the power and allows for you to control the narrative with your own pipeline. And we aim to teach it. We aim to expose it. We aim to talk about it. I want to get your feedback on it. I want to say thank you so much for being here. This is my goal so that we can control the narrative moving forward throughout 2025 and flip the script with a completely different ad that we're able to run, highly effective, bringing in a low cost opportunity, that is motivated and interested in the information that you're going to give. We're going to absolutely nail that messaging, and we're going to move them through to the back end nurturing. You have everything in your control with this particular strategy. And so I'm going to be talking a lot about it, inviting you guys, if you want to contribute in conversation, reach out to me if you have questions about this. I'm really excited to begin to grow this brand new group. And I've been working on this, since the fall, since probably September of last year, beta testing it with some of the hand-picked organizations that I wanted to work with to prove this out. I knew it would work because I've had a lot of experience with webinars in the past. Applying it to solar sales has been much more effective than I originally thought that it would be, right? So with that being said, excited that you're here. I want to, say, let's try to be different and let's be ethical. Number one, that's the most important thing. I'm tired of the bullshit, guys, right? So let's treat the consumer right. Let's get value for what we do. And let's build a sustainable pipeline for you guys moving forward in 2025. Thank you so much for being here.